Welcome to Wednesday Night Live from the Basement. Here's your hosts, Rob, Daryl, and Joe.
Gentlemen, good evening. How you doing?
Good. It is, in fact, Rob, Daryl, and Joe. It's even
It
in the
is.
right order, like we planned it that way.
The high production value on this show. So
This ain't no dog and pony show we're running
No.
here. Exactly.
we can't even afford dogs or ponies. So
Exactly.
it is what it is. Tokyo Record Style. How you doing, Brian? I'm sure you've talked about it before, but I'm curious how you get your branded logos and stuff. So, yes, built into StreamYard, there is a thing where you can upload an intro reel and you can trigger it to play automatically when you go live. That's what I do. The actual intro itself, I've been using on my channel for almost 3 years, and I did not make it. I paid someone on Fiverr to make it. I contributed the content and they made it. The logo is mine. I made it, and I need to do a better render of it for StreamYard. But you give StreamYard the components, and then it will integrate it into the live stream for you. I hope that answers your question. Richard, welcome.
Hello, Richard.
Devin, welcome. How you doing? I'm very excited. The you know what has made it to Joe, and then it has left Joe's possession, and it's on its way to me. So when it arrives, there will be a video.
It might be Friday. I don't know. That's giving Canada Post credit, but we'll see. Maybe.
True.
Maybe.
True. So I'm crazy excited, and that's why there will be a video about it. Trevor, welcome. Before we get into weather, there's only 3 of us here right now, and usually we have a special guest. And this week, we do have a special guest. It is Wednesday night here. He's joining us all the way from very, very, very early Thursday morning in Wales. It's Chris Mann. How you doing, brother?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Or good evening.
Good evening.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Hey,
That's
Chris.
right.
Nice
Good
to see you,
evening.
man.
Hey, how's it going, guys? You all right?
We're
Yeah,
doing good.
yeah.
Are you going to be able to stay up for this? Because it's 1 in the morning where you are, 2 in the morning?
I'm on the coffee.
There you go.
Got the coffee going. So
Well, thank Liz for letting you stay up late to play with your friends tonight. Tell her I said thank you.
Yeah.
Who else is joining us? Emma. Welcome. Richard saying today it is 100 degrees in Denver and Primus is playing Red Rocks tonight. There you go. Primus, I don't care about.
Richard.
100 degrees is miserable. I mean, we got to talk about the most important thing that has happened in the history of music in the last 30 years. Chris, your thoughts on the Oasis reunion? I know you and I, that's all you and I have talked about for like 5 days.
I'm slowly dying inside, if I'm being
Because
honest.
you're not there.
Didn't go. First ever gig back
Right.
together in Cardiff,
Right.
in the capital.
Right.
I've seen clips everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just like I'm dying because I don't have a ticket for Toronto. So we can suffer together, man. But your thoughts on what you've seen? I've probably watched 200 videos from both shows.
It's it just looks phenomenal.
It
If
does.
I'm being honest, the sound, even on phones, that people have been recording on phones and put it on the internet, everything sounds amazing. You know, the sound from the guitars, the drums, everything just kind of worked.
Yeah. And I think you, like me, and Sam and I have also been talking about it. There's this incredible feeling of nostalgia. You know what I mean? It's just I would say, I dare say, emotional. Even though I'm not even there, it was something to behold.
Yeah, I was watching and like hairs in my arms was sticking up a bit, and I was like, "Ah, you imbecile!
Right?
should have fucking taken the bullet and just."
Yep. You and me both. Yeah. Richard, with smartass comments like, "Who's that? We're going to boot you off the stream, and I don't know that we can be friends anymore."
So we were at Panic Stations earlier on because I'm going to watch the Stereophonics this weekend, And
Nice.
Liz said, "You said we're going Friday because I booked the tickets." I was like, "Yeah, there's no tickets here for Friday." I was like, "What?
What?
Don't tell me I've missed out on 2 concerts in 1 week." So I'm checking through. We usually book it through Ticketmaster, but we went through Gigantic. I don't know if that's anything.
Never heard of it.
It's like a
No.
newish company, anyway. Anyway, I booked the Saturday tickets. I was like, oh. So yeah, it's lucky I didn't book any hotels.
You'll get there. I don't know if you saw. So first of all, you ordered the Oasis box set. I'm assuming, right? The gold vinyl one. Did you actually pull the trigger on it?
No, not yet.
But you're gonna.
Let me get Liz drunk, get her to bed, and then.
Yeah.
How did this get you?
Oh, what the hell?
It's
Look at
better
this.
to ask for forgiveness than permission,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I know.
About an hour ago or 2 hours ago, UK time, whenever midnight was, they released the soundboard audio of Slide Away from the first show as a digital single. And it sounds phenomenal.
Do you realize how much money you're costing me?
How's this my fault?
You got me into the band,
Yes.
right? This is
Right.
costing me money.
Right.
Bruce Springsteen,
Right.
Oasis.
Right.
Oh, well, what the hell? You'll be okay.
I got a Stereophonics record in the mail from Chris today, which, by the way, is bloody fantastic.
You can tell me the truth. It's fine.
No, seriously, I really, really like it, man.
That's why I sent you that one because
Oh, it's great.
more upbeat.
Yes, it's great. I love it. Love it.
So I knew where you were going because I watched your Sunday clip and you and I have talked. But for a brief second, I thought you might say the final Ozzy Osbourne concert and the Black Sabbath because but to those of us,
Yeah.
Yeah, the old people like you. Yeah.
No, not old.
Mhm.
You look
Oh.
at that concert. There was lots of everybody there. Now,
I was going to ask you about that, Joe. What your thoughts were on that? Because I watched some clips, and I mean, like I watched the Tool one, and that was fantastic. That was phenomenal. Like I can't believe that Maynard can actually still sing like that.
Yeah. I mean, I watched Ozzy's set, I watched the Sabbath set, and I watched highlights of some other stuff or whatever, and it was very good. I mean, and it is they have influenced more people than a lot of other big influential people, for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, I get both were big. And A and A1 or something like that.
Sure.
In my world, because I'm an Oasis fan as well, and I listen to them not as diehard as you guys, but I was more the other. So
Right.
I mean, I'm just glad. And then the Scorpions had like a big reunion this weekend, or the 60th anniversary of the Scorpion. Like there was a lot of cool shit going on this weekend,
Yep.
and I was there for none of it. Even
But none of it mattered except for the Oasis reunion.
Sure, we'll go with that. I was watching. I was
what's
watching
funny-
Silverstone. Actually, I was watching the F1 race.
I missed it.
Yeah, but
Big news in the F1 world. Christian Horner getting sacked today.
he gone. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
I like his wife.
but yeah, I mean, Trevor brought up, the two of them, and I'm not gonna say which was bigger. I know which you think was bigger. I
Yes.
don't know, Daryl. As I
I think it's
you can't tell I'm pointing at you, but I don't know which you think is bigger. Again, they were both massive
of
for
course.
their perspective crowds as
Yes.
well as others.
It's
Right?
funny. I found myself thinking on whatever night, the second night or the night of the Black Sabbath thing. I'm thinking Oasis, my all-time favorite band other than the Beatles, is playing tonight and reuniting, which we never thought would happen. And Black Sabbath is playing their last show ever or whatever with Ozzy.
Right.
And I'm thinking, out of these two bands, I've seen Ozzy live, but I've not seen Oasis.
But
Isn't
you
that
haven't seen
crazy?
Oasis. I looked just because I looked on Ticketmaster. There's there's some tickets. There's one floor, some VIP thing or whatever came up, and that's even more. That's like 10 times what you would have paid if you would have just got the tickets in the first place. So
Yeah.
I keep looking for you, man. I'm going to get you there somehow. I don't know how yet, but I'm going to get you there somehow. So
By all accounts, the reviews of the Rogers Stadium have been less than positive,
yeah,
which
unfortunately,
doesn't surprise me because there's no parking. How
Yeah.
can you have a stadium, even though it's temporary, for 70,000 people or 60,000 people or whatever, where there's no parking? You expect everyone to take public transit, and the closest subway stop is 10-minute walk away.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Mm.
Even Coldplay was cutting it up when they were on stage last night. They're like, "Thanks for walking into the middle of nowhere to this stupid stadium."
Yeah. Even Coldplay was giving them shit. Yeah, I saw that. So
Terrible.
Now there is some positive stuff that comes out of this. I mean, Oasis, they didn't break up on stage again. They didn't fight, and in the Ozzy concert, Axl Rose didn't throw a hissy fit. So
no, he didn't. And
that's
Ozzy
positive stuff.
sounded okay. Like during Mr. Crowley, he sounded really decent. And then, he kind of faded a little bit, but he sounded as good as guys a lot younger and a lot less with Parkinson's disease. He sounded okay. So, you know what, though, as far as the Rogers thing, real quick, hey, I mean, I would think most people in Toronto should be happy. Look, we got another venue that large, massive bands are coming to play. When I went to Blues Fest last year, I walked a half an hour from the train station to the thing, both in and out, with 70,000 people, and there wasn't shade. Like people are bitching, there's no shade. There's no shade in a festival. But anyway, I mean, this coming from the guy that loves to go to shows and has to travel and doesn't get many here. So I'm like, suck it up, Buttercup. But I also get it at the same time. So
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I get it. It's I don't know, not my thing. I don't like outdoors to begin with. So
Yeah, you don't like going out of your house. Never mind.
I don't. No.
Never
If I
mind
didn't
to a
have,
stadium. So
if I didn't have to,
Did you
that would be
notice,
all
Rob,
right.
that they closed the roof in the Principality Stadium so that everybody outside couldn't hear the music?
I know. It's
I saw I didn't watch all the clips, but I certainly watched some of my favorite songs, and the boys sounded good. The backdrop looked good. The crowd was good. I mean, it was great. Like Don't Look Back in Anger sounded fantastic. Like Chris said, just from bloody phones, right? People just recording shit with their phones. So yeah, it sounds like good form, not bitching at each other, playing the songs people want to hear, good production. You can't ask for a hell of a lot. I don't think you can ask for anything more than that, really.
I was sending Rob links to people who are recording live when I Rob. He was like, "There's no live links here," and I'm like sending him stuff. Like, I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this.
Yep. Yeah, I watched a lot of YouTube on the weekend.
Yeah.
Is it tonight? Is the first of the Manchester, or is it tomorrow?
I think it might be tomorrow because they were showing it was on Instagram or Facebook, it might have been, that they were erecting it.
Right.
So I don't know.
It takes a while. It takes a while to get an erection, apparently.
In England, it does. Yeah, not so much in Wales. Yeah.
Wales, it's a
Because your
lot
teeth
easier.
are all fucked up over there.
That's what I hear about the Welsh. Yeah. Daryl, how are you?
Yeah, how's it going, mate?
I'm doing all right. I'm all good. You can see I got a new setup here in my background.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a couple of chairs on the plane yesterday. It came up from FedEx. And I've set up my room a little differently, so that's good.
Are you going to
Excellent.
do a room
And
tour?
A room tour. They don't
I don't
really
mean
have
right
much.
now, but I mean on your channel. You could film
Yeah.
a room tour.
I should, yeah. It'd take me about 30 seconds.
That's all right.
That's okay.
Our listing rooms are our listing rooms. We love them for what they are, and as long as the music's playing, that's good enough.
Right.
Fair enough. And I got some VCLT as well. I don't know if Tim is here in the
He was watching. He was commenting here.
Rob just didn't mention it. Yeah.
Being a smart ass saying Oasis are Blur wannabes.
Well, here we go. Tim sent me some VCLT.
Hold on, let me supersize you. Hold on.
Yeah. So I don't have this pressing. I have this album, but I didn't have this pressing. And so he sent me his one and only copy of Glass Tiger, and it's all autographed
Holy
An autograph.
by the band. And I'm assuming, Tim, that right there where my finger is. I'm assuming that's Alan Frew there. You said it was the largest of the signatures, so I'm assuming that's the one. But the other thing is I don't typically have too many Columbia House pressings, and this is a Columbia House pressing. So that I thought that was pretty cool because I mean I have this album, but I don't have a Columbia House one, and I thought it was neat. So my wife basically told me that I'm not allowed to listen to this pressing. This is like a keepsake album now.
Get that one framed. Get yourself a frame. You know,
Get myself a frame.
Yeah.
So I figured show that off right at the beginning there.
That's pretty awesome, and that's awesome of Tim to send you something signed.
Yeah.
That's very, very cool. You're a good man, Tim. Richard's not keeping score tonight. That's okay because I'm not showing any of the band that I talk about tonight. So that's probably the only time we're going to see some Glass Tiger. We're not going to talk about Bryan Adams either tonight. But
I thought you'd
Joe,
work him in
for
somewhere.
Joe, I'm going to wear the shirt.
There you go. Yes.
It's for you, Joe.
I love it. I love it.
I know you do. I know you do. So, Joe, what's our topic tonight? I think this was your idea, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. It is blue collar, for lack of the proper term, which could mean Americana, could mean roots rock, could mean a lot of different things. I guess we're going to find out what we all decided was blue collar. So working man stuff, things like that. I think a perfect example is of I can see a little bit of the top of your stack. That's going to be in my stack.
Yep.
He is the kind of somewhat the epitome of it, right?
Right.
What came to mind. Yeah, there you go. Now I can't see it. I wasn't. Nobody saw but me. I'm the only one that could see it.
Right.
So yeah, it was just that, and I listened to a lot of this, and I've always listened to a lot of this. I have a lot of varied tastes, but this probably is a genre and or a group of guys and women that fall into. I listen to this a fair bit, so and I think we all kind of do. It's just your definition of what you would consider. Like Canadian tuxedo. That's right. I went to look. I don't even.
Joe is wearing half of it. I don't know what's on the bottom of you, Joe, but you're wearing the top half of a Canadian tuxedo.
That's right. I got nothing on under, so that's partly Canadian too.
God,
It was
we don't
that
want
hot.
to see that.
It was that hot today. I'm telling you, man. It was hot. It was friggin' hot. Look, even what the hell is going on? I can't even remember what I'm talking about. I don't know. I had some smart ass comment, but I'll leave it alone. So,
Okay.
That's the gist of blue collar to me,
Right.
anyway.
So, do you want to kick things off then, since this was your idea? And obviously, I know what we're going to talk about first.
Part of it was so that I got to talk about this, and everybody's seen this. Everybody's seen different video versions of this. The Bruce Springsteen Tracks 2 box set. Everybody but me, I think that Got It has done their review of it and their rankings of it and everything else. I don't know if anybody gives a rat's ass what I think, so I'm not going to be doing that. I have listened to all of them. I finished it off today. I've kind of done a couple per day. There are not a lot. And you have, Rob, the double, right? Not to make you pull from your pile, but yeah, you've got the two albums that are
the best of what
of,
you've got
whatever,
there. Yeah.
right? Yeah, and I'm not sure who decided that. Probably Bruce. At least I would think it would be Bruce, right?
Maybe.
There are not a lot of rock and roll songs on these albums, like upbeat rock songs, and a lot of the titles, as an example, Somewhere North of Nashville.
Why don't you pull it out and show that sounds terrible.
Yeah.
Why don't you remove? We know you're not wearing anything on the bottom.
That's
pull
on my other
records,
channel.
Pull the records out and show them to folks. I haven't seen them all yet. So.
So for starters, there is and I haven't delved into. I've just kind of given everything a first listen. But this is the book. There's a nice hardcover book that comes with it. There's more parts and pieces up top. Like I said, I think everybody's kind of seen. There's a bunch of what Bruce was keeping track of his notes and things like that. That comes, and I think some are different than other people's. But yeah, there's 7 albums, 2 are doubles. That's why it's called a 9 LP set. So no, it's not 11 to 12 billion. We were selling it at our shop, and arguably a little less maybe than we should have or could have or whatever, but we were selling it for $4.50 Canadian. So I don't know what that works someone else will have to do the math as I go along. But and I won't take long to go through these. But this is the LA Garage Sessions. This is written around the time of 1983. A lot of these songs could have easily been on Nebraska, could have been on Born in the USA, could have been on all of those. I don't know that this is my favorite because, again, I kind of just went through them all for a starter. Just I'm going to listen, and then I'll go back and re-listen. And we're going to have to do gatefolds because everything's a gatefold. There's gatefolds. There are books almost in every album. There's printed inner sleeves in every album as well. It is fantastic packaging. If you're a packaging kind of a geek, you'll be able to geek out on this one. Even the insides, and I don't know. Yeah, you can kind of see. So my finger is on. That's the inside, and I'm not sure exactly what is in there because it's not like you can pull it apart and have a look. But it's printed on the inside, so there's probably some Easter egg out there.
The compilation one's the same. There's something printed on the inside, yeah.
Yeah. So this, very, very good. I really like that one. This is the Streets of Philadelphia session, so this was written around the same time he was doing that. It's really just him. It's kind of a drum loop machine that he's got on a lot of it. It's very mellow, very much like Streets of Philadelphia. Yeah, it's just very, very good. Very good as well. I didn't it. I'm never going to dislike any of it. There's some I like a lot, and then there's some I liked. Faithless is next. To call it a little bit of a religious album, I don't know if that's proper or not, but there's Bruce with his guitar. And again, just fantastic packaging. They all have liner notes. They all have printed inner sleeves. They just are fantastic. This one was a really, really nice surprise. North of Nashville, and you think because of Nashville, it's going to be a low country. It is a low country. There are some steel guitar in there, and there's a lot of that kind of cool stuff. And it's just, again, I really, really like this one as well. There's Bruce and his horse, and there's Bruce and his horse as well. I won't take up too much more of your time. I'll go a little quicker here. Inyo has a little bit of a Southwest flavor to it. Very, very good as well. There's other guys, like I said, that have certainly gone into more in-depth. If you want to give creed to someone else's opinion, there's a lot of that out there where guys have ranked them and things like that, as I said before. This one's obvious. This one is the Twilight Hours. There are shades of Frank Sinatra style, a little bit, not really big bandish, but a little bit. And Twilight Hours, and there's the back. And again, as I'm taking up too much of your time, last but definitely not least is Perfect World. This is the last one that was recorded, and it is fan-frickin-tastic. There's Bruce on his bike, so he likes to ride horses and he likes to ride bikes. And again, the packaging's phenomenal. Everything's got a book, lyrics. This is what I was writing about. This is what I was doing at the time. So, yeah, it's a big dollar. But if you're a Springsteen fan, I think it's worth it. It first pass through without really delving into it and really, really listening to it, I'm ecstatic already. So I'm looking forward to more of that.
John says he wasn't terribly impressed with it, but he hopes you enjoy it. So
there's another guy that thought that the Streets of Philadelphia sessions was the worst Bruce Springsteen album he ever heard, and I disagree. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being lenient on it. I don't know. I just like the guy. So I'm happy to give some thought to all of it. And again, I have to listen again. I'm not going to dislike anything on a second listen, but I think that I will find some that I like a little bit more maybe on a second listen. So there you go.
Cool.
Shit, I'm on
Not a review, not a review in any way, shape, or form, but I liked it all. But I mean, it's kind of, I'm gonna like it all. I think just because I like all this stuff. So,
are you going to show the compilation, Chris?
No.
Do you want me to show it then?
Yeah.
All right. All right.
I didn't pick it on purpose because I thought if you have picked it up, I thought.
Well, I figured you would show it because you have less Springsteen than I do. So, but whatever, I'll show it then. Hold on. Let me just get this moving here.
When Joe was showing the inside, have a look at the inside of that 2LP, because I'm sure this is kind of the same thing, Rob.
I am having serious internet lag
I
issues. So
I had this issue on Sunday as well. The pictures were just
they made an update to StreamYard, and it's causing some lagging problems. So I'm not rich like Joe. I'm not rich like anybody. So, and I'm also not as big a Springsteen fan. I would love to buy that box set, but I bought this, which is the 2LP. It's called Lost and Found. So it's the best of those 7 albums as deemed by Bruce himself, I suppose. It's a gatefold, so I got to show it.
Yeah.
There's Bruce with a bunch of guitars, which, that's right up my alley. He's got a Gretsch White Falcon there. That's another Gretsch something. And there's a Gibson SG there. It's just Telecaster anywhere, which is strange. Anyway, I haven't read the liner notes enough to know which of these songs belongs on which of those 7 albums that Joe showed. But I thought, by and large, all of this was really good. The end of side 1 or side 2, there's a song called Repo Man, and then the very next song is called Detail Man, and the two of them both just knocked my socks off.
Yeah, they bookend the first side of that album, and are unbelievably good.
They were very, to me, sort of reminiscent of my favorite Springsteen song from Nebraska, Open All Night. They sort of are that kind of a vibe. So I loved, but I didn't think there was a bad song on here. I pretty much loved the whole thing. I haven't digested it enough to comment on any song specifically beyond those two, but if you can't afford $450 or 300 and whatever it is in American, pick this double up off of Amazon or wherever you want to buy your record from. It's good. You liked it, right, Chris?
Oh, it's amazing. I like the song on side B, You'll Miss Me When I'm Gone.
That's a good one too.
I was surprised that one of the ones that I really liked didn't make the cut on that one, which is called John Deere. It's from the '83 sessions. Fantastic song. I mean, it could have just fit in perfectly on Nebraska, in my opinion. John,
is it about a tractor?
I was just about to say.
No, it's not. No.
But it's called John Deere.
You can imagine that as a music video and just driving a tractor singing about John Deere, sponsored by John Deere.
My old man used to say, "Nothing runs like a deer and stinks like a John."
There you go.
Yeah.
So there you go.
All right. Daryl, Chris, which one of you guys wants to go next?
Whatever. Don't mind.
All right, Chris, you're the guest of honor this week, so let me take 5 minutes to move your picture over. Goddamn StreamYard. Man, oh man. There we go.
People who watch my channel know what's coming. So
Greatest hits.
No, it's not actually.
Oh.
This isn't. I'm going to put if this is all right, John, just put a spin on the blue collar thing because I've got to bring some British in.
All right, do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this isn't a British artist. This is Nebraska.
That's not a British spin.
Yeah, but after this.
Oh.
But after this, yeah.
Yeah. I just thought I'd have to, get involved somehow. So,
Okay.
I'm in the process of collecting all of Bruce's albums. When price drops in Amazon, I'm picking them up as I'm going along, kind of thing. But I absolutely love this album. Rob got me into this album directly. I saw it on eBay, Violin Me Please one, and it's like a grey, smoked kind of vinyl. So I just love the album. I think to me this is the best album. In a year's time, speak to me then, where I might have discovered more music. But I said to Rob a few weeks ago when we were doing the live stream, I was like, this goes on at least once a week, at least. Like putting it on with a cup of coffee on a Sunday morning, chuck this on, and away we go. So that was my my first pick for this evening. So it's Mr. Bruce Springsteen. And that's another one that kicks me. I could have got tickets for him, and I didn't.
So the lesson here is next time you can buy tickets, buy tickets.
Yeah, and speak to Liz afterwards, bro.
So, I don't need it. I mean, I told the same thing because the first time I heard it, I hadn't heard anything like it, and I'm just like, wow, it's kind of like an epiphany kind of moment. So it's fantastic. All right, Daryl, you're up.
All right. All right. Initially, I wasn't going to show Bruce first, but to keep it consistent, might as well show Bruce. But I'm going with this one. So the way that I'm approaching tonight, I would assume that a lot of my musicians are probably blue collar type people. But it's about the songs for me. So the way that I'm going to be doing this is the songs that are on the album to some degree will have blue collar in it. And I think the song Working on the Highway is probably as blue collar as you're going to get. You know, that we've all been on the highway. We've all gone through a construction zone, the person holding the stop and slow sign. And apparently if you are a college or university first or second year female student that works for doing the whole stop and go thing, you can make a lot of money in that construction industry. I don't know how, but I heard that. I met a girl that was a stop and slow sign holder, and she made a killing. So, yeah, Bruce is as blue collar as you're gonna get. Most of his songs deal with it, and yeah, for me, because I could have went with Born to Run too. There's some songs on there that are pretty blue collar like, and but it doesn't matter. You go with whatever. And Born in the USA is the one that I know. To me, we've talked about this. I think it's almost pretty much a perfect album, greatest hits in a box type thing. So there you go.
That's good. All right.
There's an alternate version of Hometown. Is it Hometown? There's an alternate version of I think it's Hometown on one of those albums. I can't remember which one. So is it? Yeah.
So I'll show some different Bruce. Nebraska's always been my favorite since I started down the rabbit hole a year ago. And I like all the early stuff. I've got everything up to Tom Joad except for Human Touch. And they're all great. But then I discovered out of the blue this, which kind of hit me like Nebraska did. Letter to You. Why? Yeah. I don't know. But it's great. This was 2020.
He did it on lockdown, didn't he? I believe.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know what the deal is about this record. I don't know the context by which he recorded it. I don't know what it's about. I think the E Street Band's on it. I pretty much know nothing about it other than the first time I listened, I'm like, holy shit, that's phenomenal. I love it. You got any context on this, Joe? You know anything about this album?
Nope, not a lot. I should more than again. You listen to it and go, yeah, that fits, that works. That's a Bruce Springsteen album, and it's right up there with the rest of them. So,
I loved it.
Yeah,
I loved it.
There we go. I believe it came out in, he did it in lockdown when they could get back together, and he was in the studio doing himself, and then the E Street Band came in afterwards and filled in. It was on Apple Music. Zane Lowe kind of done a virtual interview with him, and there was like a little movie about it and how we created the album. That it's quite good actually. So he played the title track live too, and it was phenomenal. So that endeared it a little bit more to me as well. So, and Richard's answer, I believe, is in answer to Mike's question, and that's what I was going to say. Mike's question being, what do you think would be Bruce's least blue collar album? And Tunnel of Love is a lot of love songs. There's a lot of love songs on everything, just different versions of love songs, arguably, I think, as well. So, but
wasn't Tunnel of Love when he was kind of starting his relationship with Patty? I think.
I think that was the end of the first marriage and the time with Patty.
Yeah, I think so. I finally got around to watching that 45-minute documentary there where he talks about Patty's health and why she hasn't been performing. It's a really good documentary.
Yeah.
He's a classy guy, man. Very class act. He wasn't a dick to the guy that was interviewing him or nothing. And of course, there's that bar they were in. If you haven't seen it, spoiler, but there's that bar that he goes to, and all the burgers or wings or whatever it is are named after songs that he's done. It's
Yep.
pretty neat.
Yeah, I mean, again, he's the poster child for this style of music, I guess, right? There's others that have come and stayed as well. There's guys that have been around almost as long as him, and I'm sure we'll get to some of them. And then there's, much like everything else, there's little different offshoots of it. Yeah, spit it out. How about them Blue Jays 10 in a row? Look at them go.
Yeah, but they lost today against Chicago, so
Yeah, but
that's okay.
We don't have to mention that.
10 in a row. They're in first place. I know it's only the All-Star breaks like next week or whatever, but hey, we'll take it where we can get it. It's the first time we've been in first place for a long time, and as long as we stay in the hunt, either a little bit ahead, a little bit behind, as long as we're close to them goddamn Yankees, it'll be a fun September. We haven't had a pennant drive in a long time, so
yeah, exactly. Most wins before the All-Star break. Period.
yes.
End of sentence. So yeah, it's good.
It's been great. Okay, let's go around again. Joe, show us something else.
All right. So this is going to be, like I said, this is a little bit of an offshoot of it because it's got its own category as well. But I would still consider Leonard Skinner, and this is pronounced blue collar.
I'm trying to get you over here. Hold on.
I mean, it's yeah, that's okay. Do what you got to do.
It's not me. It's the damn StreamYard. It's
StreamYard's just messing with you.
Yeah, well, like I said, they did an update on it, and some of the features are not working so well. There we go.
So Leonard Skinner, pronounced, Southern rock, but blue collar as well. I mean, you think of Freebird, you think of all of that stuff. Give Me 3 Steps, Tuesday's Gone. This is a damn good album. So yeah, again, it's kind of got its own genre, but I still would 100% consider them working man songs. Sit around, drink a beer, listen to Leonard Skinner. I don't know if beer is necessarily associated with blue collar music, but you could have a beer and listen to blue collar music. You could have a whiskey and listen to blue collar music as well.
You're probably not sitting down drinking a Chardonnay, so
you're not normally drinking a Chardonnay. No, I'm not sure.
Right, so your point is probably a valid one.
I think so, yeah. And this happens to be one of those where I've got 2 copies of it because one of them used to belong to my dear friend Phil. So I keep his and my copies together, and they were one of his favorites. So hats off to my buddy Phil up in heaven, if there is such a thing. But yeah, so again, Southern rock, but just good rock and roll, lots of guitars, fun lyrics, good stuff. Freebird, play some Skinnerd, man. Anyway, there you go.
Yep, that's fair. I was going to show some Skinnerd, but I figured you probably would, so I didn't.
Yeah.
So, okay, Chris.
Do you guys always pick based on sometimes thinking, like I never pick Blue Rodeo because if they fit, I just think you're going to. Do you guys do that, or is it just me? I do that.
What's this rodeo you speak of?
It's blue.
Right?
Anyway.
Sounds
just a
like
question.
cowboy
I wasn't
music.
sure if you guys do that too. If you think, well, no, Rob or Daryl's going to pick that, or so. But I don't know what you're going to pick, Chris. So why don't you tell us what you pick?
It's the greatest hits, or it's the Stereophonics.
Nope. So this artist is in the biggest rock band in the world at the moment. He came from a working class scenario where his dad was working 2 jobs, worked in a factory and also DJ in the evening, and his mum was a stay-at-home mum. And this is Mr. Noel Gallagher. Started with nothing. They had to move out of their home when he was 6 or 7 because they decided they were going to demolish all the council estate and build a massive supermarket. And they kept moving. The family came from Ireland originally with no money in their pockets. So he's come from nothing to being one of the biggest rock stars in the world. So it's Mr. Noel Gallagher. And I've said this to Rob before. Without him, there is no Oasis.
There is no Oasis.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Beatles. Without Lennon or McCartney, it's not going to work.
Right.
He's the brains with the lyrics. Because let's be honest, Liam just sings the songs. And if you listen to the song Aqueance that they played live the other night, his voice is still there. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But if you haven't picked this up yet, Rob, I know it's the greatest hits, but
I do not have it.
but it's got all his kind of hits. His album's amazing. I've just ordered. It's actually called Council Skies because in
I've
UK
got it.
we call them council estates. Where very poor people kind of live. They can't afford housing. So he's come from there to this.
That's not where the name of the album came from. Council Skies, the new album,
Yeah,
is not named for Council Estates.
yeah.
There is Noel wanted something that was sort of, uh, moody and kind of like blah, kind of like English weather, and the sky is always gray typically because it's overcast and cloudy. And someone suggested the name because apparently at one of the paint stores in the UK, it's actually a paint color on one of those paint strips. It's called Council Skies, and it's a gray color. And he goes, that captures the mood of my album, so he called it Council Skies.
Yeah, I
didn't mind Council Skies. It's okay. Chasing the Moon, which is the one before that, I don't like, and I don't even own it. And then the two before that, Chasing Yesterday, and then the High Flying Birds, those are really good.
Yeah, my favorite one on is If I Had a Gun.
Oh,
The lyrics are just
that's my favorite too. Off the first album, love it.
so. I've seen Liam live. I've seen Noel live. I thought Noel was better. I've also seen Oasis live when the support act was the Foo Fighters in Cardiff. So we're quite lucky in Britain, I think, because we kind of get all this music before it kind of goes over across the pond. I'd be quite lucky in bands.
So jealous, man. Words cannot describe. Yeah. Yes.
Sorry, Rob.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm just gonna, I'm gonna brood. I'm gonna brood.
That from what I had in mind, that 100% fits. A guy comes from nothing, working class family, and that's blue collar for sure. That's blue collar. So again, not that we ever have any specific rules, but this is going to be the way that we all interpret it, and I'm sure we'll all interpret it a little differently.
Someone wants the Northern Pikes to be mentioned.
They're not in there, but yeah, I mean, I can mention the Northern Pikes, and they're over. Well, they're not over there specifically. The albums are over there, but Jay Semko is actually performing. He's performing at not Folk Fest. Anyway, he's in Saskatoon this weekend.
So funny thing. After we did I don't know what episode it was, last week's episode maybe, I got an email from a regular viewer asking me why you didn't show the Northern Pikes.
Why I didn't show the Northern Pikes?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know.
Canadian. Well, yeah. I mean, because they're a band that I talk about a lot, and I do.
Right.
There are some that I talk about a lot, and I tried to because it was all Canada last week is what we did for Canada Day.
Right.
So I tried not to show the same guys that I show all the time. But don't worry. I still have the Northern Pikes. I still will listen to the Northern Pikes. I'll still go see the Northern Pikes, and I keep close track of the Northern Pikes. So
there we go. The Northern Pikes have been mentioned this evening.
They have.
There we go. What's Devin saying here? Back the way we came. Excellent comp. Yeah, I just need to get it. Just one of those that I don't see it very often, and I should pick it up one of these days, and I just never have. So
if I see one, I'll get one for you, Rob. All right.
Well, then we see them here. Like I'll find it. I just have to see. Richard doesn't see. Here comes the Northern Pikes again. Richard doesn't have any Northern Pikes, so.
Devin's a good Saskatchewan kid. He's probably seen the Northern Pikes.
He probably has.
We're done.
All right. So now it's Daryl's turn.
It would be the best if Daryl showed the Northern Pikes.
That'd be hilarious.
No, definitely not. It's the furthest thing from them. All right. So when you suggested this topic, Joe, basically, Joe, you're the one that suggested. I don't know. My mind's going a little. The very first thing that came to mind was like trying to think of songs that were blue collar. Like, what is a job that's blue collar, right? And the very first thing that came to mind, and I hope Music Talk is here, because this is straight up Billy Joel. I don't know much about Billy Joel's history and whatnot, but there is a song on the Nylon Curtain album called Allentown. And the very beginning of the song, there's a whistle that goes off, and it's about working. It's about Allentown, Pennsylvania, and the steel mills shutting down after being one of the most successful steel mills for 150 years in the United States, and all the blue collar workers losing their jobs. But to try to keep a positive, attitude that the city wasn't going to collapse and stuff. And those of you that have lived in blue collar towns, like I grew up in a mining town, and I'm going to talk about that later. But I mean, seeing what happens when the industry kind of go belly up, is pretty crazy. Anywhere in the United States, especially where there's coal mines and factories and all that kind of stuff. Up in the area that I live in, there's been pulp and paper mills that have shut down left and right. And so to me, this, especially Allentown and some of the songs that Billy Joel touches base on in his career, is completely blue collar. And he's a supporter, seems to be a supporter of those communities that have struggled over time. And yeah, see, I knew Music Talk would love that.
You
So I
say the
threw
word,
it-
you
threw
say
that
the
in
word
because
Billy Joel, and John shows up. That's all there is to it.
it was the first song that came to my mind when you suggested this topic, was Allentown. That was from the horn to the steel mill sounds that are in that song. And then, of course, the lyrical content is just brilliant to me. And yeah, Music Talk. There you go, John.
John, you can't go anywhere. I need
No, you don't have to
you for the
go.
analytics. Just stick around till the end. Just leave your computer on and then go somewhere else.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
There you go.
Keep the stats up.
My turn. Okay, I think am I going to show this one next? I'm going to show. Yeah, I'm going to show this one next. This is a working class dude that I know personally. I've talked about him before. This is Dustin Bentall and the Smokes. Yes, he has a famous rock star father, but just because you're famous in Canada doesn't mean that you're living in mansions, because that is certainly not the case. This is a band that's not together anymore, but they were around 10 years ago. And I loved this band. And whenever they were in town, I saw them. If they were anywhere within 2 hours, I went and saw them. And I know, like I said, I know a few people in this band. This is a compilation of two EPs put together. One's called Orion and the other's called You Are an Island. And this is very much a working class album. So Dustin doesn't do a lot of music anymore. He has a wife and a kid, and he lives in the mountains in British Columbia, and he's a leather maker. He has a shop where he makes leather goods. He makes boots and he makes guitar straps, and he's just a working dude. And he helps his dad as a rancher, even though his dad is a touring musician. He's also a rancher. So it's kind of comes from an honest, working kind of thing. But the songs on here are, blue collar as well. There's a great song called Every Chord That Rings that opens the album. And it's just kind of this, it's about a bunch of young people getting together and making a band and learning to make music. I mean, we've all had that fun when we first learned to play guitar or whatever. So I can kind of resonate with that. There's a great song called Emmy Lou about the guy going to a strip club with his brother and falling in love with the stripper. We've all done anything about that.
Haven't we all done that? Yeah.
I may have dated a couple of them at one point in time, but that's a story for another day. There's a song about a car crash. They're all relatable stories. Most of them relate to Dustin's life in one shape or form. But just a great sort of straight up rock record that written by a down to earth guy that's about shit that we all can relate to. And I think that's pretty blue collarish. I know you're a fan, Joe, of Miss Kendall Carson. She's on this record. That's actually her in The Mermaid Tale, believe it or not. So,
there you go.
there you go.
Did you read my review that I wrote a couple years ago? Yeah,
I did.
To say I was excited is a little bit of an understatement, but
for sure,
it was great.
JWG Moore says BTO has a song called Blue Collar. Yes, they do. Absolutely,
they do.
I never thought to pull BTO, and I should have. Oh well. Okay, Joe, it's going to take me 5 minutes to move your picture, but you can go next.
Okay, I can go next.
There
All
you
right. So I think a lot of blue collar country will fall into that. So I've got a little bit of that. But this one is the Zach Brown band, but it's called Jekyll and Hyde because it's a little bit country, it's a little bit rock and roll. Unlike the Osmonds, it's not exactly like that, but it's like a John Lennon Yoko Ono album where there's a country flavored song and there's a more of a rock flavored song. They blur the lines a little bit. I didn't see what you show. What'd you show, Chris? I didn't see what you held up there. So
Zach Brown.
yeah, chicken fried, all of that stuff. Again,
Yeah.
country is really, if we want to be honest about it, you could put it. Well, most older country acts. There's some new country acts there that aren't as blue collar as others, but yeah, it's a great album. Again, called Jekyll and Hyde because it's kind of Jekyll and Hyde. It's half. I don't know if it's half country, half rock, but it's good. Beautiful Drug on here. Homegrown. Easy as the Head featuring Chris Cornell is on here. I think he's on here a couple of times. No, maybe he's just the once. Sarah Bareilles, Mango Tree. It's really good. Not a lot to the gatefold, but it is the rule, and it is a gatefold. And then there is Zach and the band on the back. Haven't seen these guys, but I would 100 go and see them for sure. I think they'd put on a very, very good show. They'd fall into the category for those that don't know. You could listen to them alongside your Jimmy Buffett and probably not be too far off, but a little bit more than that. Just good stuff. I really like it, and this is a very good album because, like I say, it's kind of half rock and roll, half country, and it's well done for sure. And Chris Cornell, if he's on something, I got to have it. So he's on there.
All
What
right.
did I say? Did I say Donnie and Osmond versus Donnie and Marie? I don't know what the hell I said.
No, you would make your comment. It's a little bit country. It's a little bit rock and roll. And he goes, "No, that's Donnie and Marie." So,
Okay, yes.
okay, Chris.
We know where this is going. So I'll just. I didn't think anybody would pick Zach Brown band tonight, to be honest. I was looking through my collection. I was like, they're not going to pick that. They're not going to pick that. And I saw Joe. I was like, oh, shit. But it's. I don't
The
know.
greatest hits.
It is. Oh, come on, mate. That's what my channel's all about. But it's. This is a great comp to have because it's literally got their hits. I don't know how Joe feels about.
That's why
their
it's
most
called the
recent-
greatest hits.
Yeah, well done, smart ass. So I thought I'd show this because that's when they were good. I feel
Sure.
like the last two albums, Joe, haven't connected with me at all.
It's a little different, yeah, for sure. I mean, I guess it's like a lot of artists where they're trying to maybe go in a little bit of a different direction. But again, you put that on, and what I assume is on there, I don't know, but it's just good. Again, that would be playing at the outdoor beer party, in the woods, and that would be that album would fit perfectly in there. Or you're at the beach, and it would fit okay there. So yeah, they're great musicians. I mean, they're talented. It's good, talented stuff as well, I think. But they got to work on their gatefolds clearly because their gatefold interiors are. That was a tri. Was that a trifold or no? Maybe that was a trifold.
No, it's a.
Just a double. All right.
Yeah, so it's got Chicken Fried. I like the song Whatever It Is. Toes Free. Highway 20 Ride. That's an amazing song, that is.
Yeah.
Cold Weather's another good one about them traveling down the road and not seeing their family, and the wife is complaining you're never home, you're always away, that kind of stuff. Goodbye in Her Eyes, Sweet Annie, No Hurry the Wind, Knee Deep with Jimmy Buffett on you.
There you go. Yeah, I like them. I think they're good. Oh yeah,
Nathaniel Rateliff is pretty good too.
very good. Yeah.
Stay tuned. That's in my pile.
So yeah, good choice. Good choice for sure, Chris, because I think that fits the bill. Plus, just damn good music too. So there's not a lot of new country I listen to. I listen to outlaw guys, but there are some good newer country acts. Or some that I give the time to listen to, like a Chris Stapleton and that. There's probably more good country acts that I just don't listen. Okay, I'm just gonna shut the hell up. Who is it? Daryl, it's your turn.
It's all good. I think
come
Chris
on.
is going to like this because I'm going to show a comp right now.
Hey! The crowd go wild.
And the crowd goes wild.
StreamYard's really pissing me off here tonight.
Do you want me to go again?
There we go.
There you go.
All right, so here's the thing. It doesn't get any more blue collar than a band that started off naming themselves the Quarrymen and then did a song called Hard Day's Night. And I've only got the red and the blue comp albums, and I think it's the only Beatles ones I'll probably ever need. Just their greatest hits. I'm not. I know it disappoints Rob. I'm going to get kicked off this show.
Oh man. This is the one band where you need more than the hits. Oh,
You know,
boy.
The big thing for me, though, is Hard Day's Night. I mean, that's as blue collar as you're going to get. I mean, it's been a hard day's night. I've been working like a dog. I don't know the history too much of the band. I'm assuming that at least one or two of them grew up in some kind of blue collar neighborhoods and homes, just based on some of the themes and some of the songs. And just like I said, just naming yourselves the Quarrymen. And it's a gatefold.
There you go.
I think it's a little better than the Zach Brown one.
There's a little bit more going on. Yeah, for sure.
That doesn't take much beating, let's be honest.
True.
So yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, for me, my dad used to listen to this one all the time. He didn't throw in the blue one too much, but "Born in the U.S." or "Back in the USSR" is my favorite Beatles song ever. But that's not as blue collar. I don't think "Spies" are considered blue collar, but like I said, I mean, they came from, I'm assuming, from not much to the heights of popularity within a 10-year period, and then boom, they were done, but they're still as popular as ever. So kind of goes back to what we were saying about some of these other guys, right?
They went
Well,
Coming up from nothing.
middle
to-
class and lower middle class to the most successful band in the history of the world. So yeah, I think that
Yeah.
fits.
Yeah, and Liverpool, if you looked up a blue collar town, would probably be a picture of Liverpool as well, I think. I don't know that for sure, but Chris, you could speak to that, I'm sure, where that's kind of, I don't know if it still is, but at the time frame, because is it shipyards there or no?
Used to be, yeah.
Used to be,
Same as Newcastle, where Dire Straits are from. Mark Knopfler and that kind of thing. It's kind of the poor of the poor areas used to be. Now Liverpool's more of a up and coming. They centre everything around Liverpool Football Club, Everton Football Club, the Beatles. You know, you can go on tours. There's a lot more businesses opening up, and where the docks used to be, there's like museums and stuff of the Beatles, and so they try and make it more of a friendly tourist kind of area, which helps the impact of everybody living there then.
Sure.
Which brings in more revenue, which is brilliant. I expect the taxi drivers go absolutely nuts on the zebra crossing.
Yeah, no
Yeah,
kidding.
here's another one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was watching. Good one to watch. Not a fan of. Can't think of his name. Carpool Karaoke. James Corden, but he
Right.
did a really good one with Paul McCartney.
McCartney, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was the best one he's ever done. I'm not a fan of James Corden, to be honest.
Nobody is.
He drives
Yeah.
me up the.
Except for carpool karaoke, right? Yeah, I mean, hey, let's open the jukebox. Hey, look, it's Paul McCartney. Oh, yeah, great, good.
And he signed like the board by the side, and he's like, nobody's gonna believe you actually signed that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's cool.
I've signed that wall.
Have you?
Yep. Back in 1999, I think I was there. And I have a picture of me crossing the crosswalk.
It's not the one. That's not Wonderwall, though, is it?
No. Although
Good choice,
Although this Oasis song Wonderwall was inspired by the George Harrison song Wonderwall.
Wonderwall. Yeah.
There you go. Yes. If
Yes.
you mention the Beatles, you cannot deny the Stones as being that too. Absolutely. Agreed.
Liam's first gig he ever went to was the Stone Roses, which inspired him then to get into music.
John, if you're still watching, you mentioned Nathaniel Rateliff, and you also said who's showing Mellencamp. So what do you want next? Nathaniel Rateliff or do you want
Or Mellencamp.
Mellencamp? You've got 10 seconds to answer.
Billy Joel, come in.
Come on, John. What do you want to see? Going once, going twice. I'm going to show what's on the top of my pile then, which is Mellencamp. All right, it's Mellencamp. We're too late.
Dealer's choice. Yeah, there you go.
You missed it. Okay, Mellencamp. I think he's an asshole. But besides that, let me make myself large here. Hold on. I think he could fit into that Wankers episode we're going to do. See, look, they're Mellencamp. See, I picked right, John. I knew that that's what you wanted to see. So, I mean, when you Google, like, working class rock and roll, blue collar rock and roll, the first two names that always come up are Springsteen and Mellencamp, right? So, am I a big Mellencamp fan? No. I have two Mellencamp albums. I'm going to show them both. I like some of the early stuff. It's, it's fine, but I just beyond that, I don't know. But I mean, you can't help it. But he does. I'm saying he's not the voice of the people, but he understands and can write about the experience of those of us that are not famous rock stars. So you think of stuff like, I instantly thought of this album, Scarecrow, Small Town, right? We're all born in a small town, and live in a small town, and probably die in a small town. It's, people relate to this kind of thing, right? So there's that one, and then the other one I've got here is a little ditty about Jack and Diane. I mean, we all kind of understand that story. So there you go. The name associated most often with blue collar rock and roll. Older Mellencamp is clearly cranky. Yeah, when I say he's an asshole, I mean, I don't know, but I've seen too many videos of him just being a bitch on stage, and if you don't like what I'm doing, I'm walking off stage. Play your music, dickhead. That's what people are paying you for. So, not a big fan if he wants to throw a temper tantrum. You don't want to be a rock star, then don't play concerts. Unfortunately, for better or worse, it's people's butts in the seats that give him the life that he has. So don't be ungrateful. Nothing bothers me more than when famous people are ungrateful for the fact that they're famous. So.
I can feel an episode of Wankers coming up soon.
Oh, we're going to do a Wankers episode.
Working on it, yeah.
He says, I'm waiting on John Cougar Mellencamp, Mr. Happy-Go-Lucky on vinyl. Yeah, right. His last two albums are great. His gravelly voice works. Sure. I haven't heard him, and I probably never will. So, okay. Let's go around again. Joe.
I saw John Cougar Mellencamp back in the day. I don't remember exactly. It might have been at least was out for sure. Scarecrow was out. Anyway, look, it's more John Cougar Mellencamp because I had him on here as well. But I'm going right back to the start, the very first album, back when he was actually just John Cougar before he decided he wanted to have Mellencamp at the end again. But Hot Night in a Cold Town, that's again just driving around with the girls. Ain't Even Done with the Night. Wild Angel, Cheap Shot, just good stuff. I actually really like John Cougar. I don't disagree that he's an ass. I really like Don Henley, and he's an ass too. Unfortunately, right. Thankfully, we're able to somewhat separate. Yes. There's a difference between guys that are just complete assholes and guys that are just assholes that I can separate and still enjoy their music. And he still falls into that category for me. So there's the quick version of my next round is just to add to the John Cougar Mellencamp because, yeah, as Rob said, if you Google it or whatever and you put in blue collar, it's Bruce Springsteen and Mellencamp or the other way around, only because, they're going alphabetically, I guess, more than anything. So
Henley is the ass king. I don't know if this is this kind of show where we're talking about ass king. That's over on somebody's OnlyFans, I think, not ours.
Yeah,
that's Rob's other channel.
I did see him, and he put on a hell of a show. He put on like a 3-hour show. He did an hour and a half of good stuff. He took a break, and he did another hour and a half-ish or something along the lines of that. And it was a very good show, and he didn't bitch and he didn't whine. So, you got to, I guess, take the good with the bad sometimes. So
there you go. Okay. Chris.
I'm going to show a Canadian artist. Yeah. I was wearing my Rush
I
T-shirt
was going
tonight.
to say he's got his Rush shirt on. Exactly.
It's not Rush though.
They
this
could fall into.
Oh,
is
Gordon Lightfoot.
Lightfoot.
Bedtime for this guy. Sorry.
That's
Good
all right.
night.
I picked Gordon Lightfoot because even maybe I don't know the backstory in this, but it sounds like a blue collar kind of album. This does the songwriting on it and his experiences, that kind of thing. I got introduced to this when I was quite young. Actually, my mum used to have this on CD in the kitchen, and Sunday she'd be preparing. In Britain, we have what's called a Sunday dinner, which is kind of like roast beef.
Yeah, we do the same thing here.
Yeah.
We're a British colony, don't forget.
Yeah, I
That's
keep
right,
forgetting that I'm not talking to Americans. Sorry.
Right.
So this album was always on. Kind of this album. She used to listen to Carpenters. That kind of and there's an album I'm gonna show later that reminds me. She's not dead, by the way. I'm just saying. It just reminds me of that time, right?
Good. Good.
I'll show the inside. So another quite boring one. I'm sorry for this, guys.
All right.
But yeah, it's the tracks he's got on here are amazing. But I like the Canadian Railroad trilogy. That's my favorite one. I gotta be honest. Every time I think of Canada, I always think of that song. So
Yep.
that's my choice. Didn't know if anyone was going to pull it. This is this. Sorry, Joe. Brian Adams is pretty much all I've got on Canadian music at the moment.
That's
But I am
okay.
determined to get.
We'll get you smartened up. We'll get you fixed up here sooner or later. You'll just be getting packages weekly of here. You got to listen to this. You got to listen to this. So I think in general, as a country, for the most part, we're not super cosmopolitan. Can't speak for you guys, but I think a lot of Canadians fall into the blue collar category. That way, Gordon Lightfoot is perfect because, as we've discussed before, he is Canadian music, for lack of narrowing it down or making that sound less ominous than it is. But he really,
he blazed the trail for everyone that came after him,
yeah,
and he's kind of the voice of the nation.
I just feel I was sometimes born in the wrong era because the most music I like is kind of like the older kind of
Same here.
real songwriters. If that makes sense, yeah.
Yep.
So that's my choice. That I just
Good
showed
pick.
because I'm on a Canadian channel tonight. Oh, right.
good choice.
We love our UK cousins. So
We do. We're coming to visit. I don't know when, but we're coming to visit.
yep.
I'm going to Canada next year. Me and Liz are trying to organise something, unless World War III kicks in. But we are planning at some point next year. We are saving to go to Canada because I want to meet people.
Okay. We're getting together then, man.
It's a lot of Canada. If you're going to see all three of us, it's going to take you a while for sure. But there are something to see in all three of us for sure. So yeah. Joanne and I someday at some point will be in Ireland as well as the rest of the United Kingdom. But that's her dream, is to go and even possibly move to Ireland, have a nice little farm with some goats and stuff over in Ireland. Yeah, I know. That's the only problem with the dream, but we'll see. Yeah.
Okay, Daryl.
All right, so I'm gonna do a 1.5er right now. What I'm gonna call it, a 1.5er. It's gonna be weird because I'm showing a 45.
Ah,
All right, okay.
So the 45 you are not going to find in most places, but I did manage to. It was just one of these random pickups of like 50 cents or whatever it is. But when I think blue collar, I think the town that I grew up in for the first 20 years or so of my life. I lived in a mining town. It was an underground gold mining town. There were 3 gold mines up in the town that I grew up in. I worked a summer in a gold mine. So it's as blue collar as you're going to get. And one of the things that mining towns in particular are subject to is if anything happens in the mine, then the whole town is affected by it. And I picked up this 45 by a lady named Janet Moore from the Sudbury, Ontario area, and it's called The Rugged Miner. You can kind of see right there the underground miner. She made a single off of this, and I'd like to read part of the back. So on June 20th, 1984, a seismic event measuring 3.5 on the Richter scale struck the Falcon Bridge mine, killing 4 miners. And she made a song that was based on the deaths of those 4 miners. And it's just, I was listening to it today. It's so sad. Like literally, like the lines in the song are like, the chemicals blew up and the rock crushed the miners. And when the mine rescue team got down there, the 4th miner was still alive, but before they could get him out, he died in their arms. It was that kind of thing, right?
Wow.
So these mining towns and coal mining towns and things like that. Like I said, I grew up in a mining town, and I distinctly remember various incidents that happened. Yeah, so that's as blue collar as you're going to get there. The thing about mining towns too is if you live in a small enough one, they usually have like a horn that goes off on the head frame, and the horn dictates. There used to be curfews and everything, even for kids. Like when I was a kid, it was a 9 o'clock curfew. That horn went off. If you weren't home by 9:10, you knew it was coming, and it wasn't the mine police that were coming to smack your ass or whatever it was. It was your parents that were basically like, "You're late, get home." Right? I worked underground in a mine. It's not fun. We'll put it that way, not fun. But then again, when I think, I guess maybe a blue collar mining song, I'm going to go with the Joshua Tree. There is a song that's on here. What's the name of it again? Red Hill Mining Town is the name of the song. And it's a good song. Irish boys, once again, when I think Ireland too, and I think old school Ireland, I think, I don't know, I think blue collar. So there's that. And then this one is a gatefold. So yeah, we will look at just straight up mining songs. I have some other ones, but not going to show them, the band there. So that was the direction that I took on that. Was for me, just because I grew up in a mining town, that's about as, to me, as blue collar as it's going to get when it comes to industry. So go with some U2, and then, like I said, one of the saddest 45s I've ever listened to in my life.
Yeah, geez, that makes the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald like a frickin' kid song. The lyrics on that one, holy crap! We do tend to write about some tragedies here, that's for sure. So
Yeah.
Okay, well, since Daryl talked about tragic mining songs, I'm also going to talk about a tragic mining song. How about that?
okay,
I've shown this album about 400 times on my channel. It's probably the most working class album I have. Adam Baldwin's Concertos and Serenades. Adam Baldwin is this fella right here. Right there. Walking down the Causeway Road, because there's a song in here called Causeway Road. Look who plays on this, Joe. Right over here.
Kendall. That's right.
There you go.
Yeah, and there, that's a Canadian tuxedo. He's got the top half
yeah.
of a Canadian tuxedo going there.
There's a Canadian tuxedo.
Yeah,
right.
That's the summer version. Yep.
Adam lives in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, and there's I think 8 songs here, and every one of them are either about real life people and events, working class salt of the earth people that Adam knows or knew in Nova Scotia, or fictionalized events based on, stories of things that transpired in the past, but they're all about the gritty working class people. So there's a song on here called Number 2 Colliery, and that is based on the Spring Hill mining disaster of 1958. Spring Hill, Nova Scotia was a coal mining town, and there were 3 different mine cave-ins over about 100 years. The last one was in 1958, and a bunch of people died. And this song is a fictitious account of somebody that died in that mine, and it's a tragic song. Holy shit. It's about a guy, and he's in the mine, and he knows that his wife is having an affair with his brother. When he leaves in the morning to go to work, and his brother's coming home, the wife's, banging the brother, and she's pregnant. Well, then there's a mine cave in, and he dies, and it's just him expressing the wish that His brother will raise the child as his own. It's just a heartbreaking song, but it's a mining thing. There's another song here called Causeway Road, which this is actually Causeway Road because this is a causeway right here. And it's about a guy in the song is called Danny Fingers. In real life, his name is Donnie, and he's Adam's neighbor. And it happened, 40 or 50 years ago. Donnie's father and brother and him bought 3 fishing boats because the economy in the Maritimes is based on fishing. And his brother was sold a boat that was really not up to spec. And on his first day of fishing, the ship sank and his brother died. And Donnie tried to exact revenge on the person that sold them the boat, but got a little too drunk and slipped on some dynamite and lost a couple fingers. It's a crazy story. But this whole album is about this. There's a song here called Gerald Burgess Racetrack. It's about a stoner that works at the gas station. Like, this is a salt of the earth album. Most of these people are real. There's a song here, The Voice of the Eastern Passage, about a guy that founded an independent radio station out there. It's all about real people. So this is the most working class album I have. And I talk about it all the time. And it's in my top 10 albums of all time. It's so goddamn good. There you go.
Very nice.
Nice.
Let's just check a few comments here. Richard's talking about ass smacking and ass. Richard, not on this channel, man. Aren't there any fun working class songs about beer, cars? Yeah, that's called Kid Rock, if you want to listen to some of that. I do have some, actually. But maybe that's in the Wankers episode. Who knows? Okay, Joe, wow us here.
All right. Well, there is one bourbon, one scotch, and one beer.
Oh, good one.
So there you go. A little Thorogood. I think that definitely falls into it. He doesn't talk about cars a whole bunch. That's Springsteen's deal. But, and a lot of George's songs are sometimes remakes. But still, he's got some good stuff. One of my all-time favorite songs is Get a Haircut, Get a Real Job by Thorogood. Just a fantastic song that I can relate to. And that, again, I think really fits into this category. And this is live because that's the best way to see Thorogood. I've seen him about 5 times, I think, and he's just good, and he's still playing. He's living up to the blues guys that he followed in their paths, and just he's going to play till he drops dead on stage somewhere, I'm sure. But Bad to the Bone, Madison Blues. Again, one bourbon, one scotch, one beer. I Drink Alone. I think you can equate, again, drinking, whether it be beer or whiskey or whatever, again, not Chardonnay, with Blue Collar, but Thorogood and drinking easily go hand in hand. I have been drunk to George Thorogood more than I haven't, I think. That's not a fair statement. But I have been drunk while listening to George Thorogood, not for a lot of years, but again, he's another one of those that, if you're at a bush party, which I think we all can somewhat relate to, Chris, I'm not sure if that equates to something that you partook in, but, you get a bunch of people, you get a bunch of beer, you fill up the back of the trunk with ice, you put all the beer in the trunk, and you go out to some farmer's field who doesn't give a shit that you're there, and you crank up the tunes and you drink beer and you have a fire and you sit around and you tell stories. So that is an album that definitely was played a lot at those types of things that I was at.
To translate that for you, Chris, you put the logger in the boot of the car.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah, I live by the beach, so we kind of
it's similar, sure.
But
you've sat on a beach with a fire going before, right? Yeah.
Getting smashed, waking up to a guy called Dave that you've never met before, wondering what has gone on. But yeah, I get it. Yeah,
going, Dave.
And it's not that kind of channel.
Dave. Yeah, Dave, I love you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a long time, but those are some fantastic memories, right? Of that. So
I can't remember him having a mustache the night before, but whatever.
But there he is.
There it is.
A whole new side of you, Chris. Like, I would have figured you would have said, I woke up next to somebody named Susie. I don't remember who she was. But if it's Dave, whatever, man. We don't judge here.
Exactly. Nothing wrong with that.
I'm giving up on the full screen
I
thing, by
thought
the
so.
way, because StreamYard's pissing me off. So we're gonna just run with this layout for the rest of the night. So
John knows Dave too. He's met him before.
I'm not surprised.
I know Dave.
Good Lord, this is taking a turn.
It has, but
And I'm
that's
turning to Chris to keep it on track. This is a mistake, but go ahead, Chris.
So yeah, Kelly Jones from Stereophonics comes from a working town colliery village. He was brought up at the time where Margaret Thatcher was Prime Minister and closed all the collieries throughout the United Kingdom. He's an amazing songwriter. He's the lead singer from the Stereophonics. His dad was a singer. His dad used to work 2 jobs, factory worker. His mum used to work in a supermarket. And in the evening then, his dad would go singing in clubs and pubs and that kind of stuff. But Kelly would go along with his dad, and that's how he learned to, be a musician, that kind of stuff. And his dad used to bribe him, saying, "If you come with me and carry my stuff, I'll get you a Chinese on the way home."
oh, there you go.
So this is a triple one. He done a live concert just himself acoustically, toured the UK. This is from the Hammersmith Apollo in London. So he didn't sell out the tour. Rob might know some of these songs now after he's listened to the album. So the massive one. I just put in perspective for you guys in Canada here. So the Stereophonics are the most successful British band of all time when it comes to album sales. Every single album they've released, which is 8 of them, have gone straight to number 1. So on sales wise, they are the biggest.
I mean, I 100% know. I 100% know the name.
Yeah.
And maybe if I heard something, I'd go, yes, I've heard that before. But for me to just say, oh, I know that song, I don't. But again, I know the name. And there are so many. There's so many Canadian bands that again we love, we know, we've listened to for forever.
They do the song "Hurry Up and Wait," right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a great song. No, they're a great band. Yeah.
So I'll just give you some context here. So the song "Local Boy in the Photograph" from their first album, because Kelly used to work in an indoor market on the fruit and veg stall, and he used to write lyrics down. Remember the old brown bags used to put the bananas and oranges and that kind of stuff in. So he used to write his lyrics on there. And one day his mate came in saying, "What times are the trains running today?" And he thought, "Oh, he's just trying to get home." And the next thing he found out is his mate walked in front of a train. So it's called Local Boy in the Local Boy in the Photograph, which is a photograph of his mate who walked in front of a train. And he didn't mean for it to get released, but it did. And it was one of the most successful songs they've ever done. So, he's from that local town. He's talking about people in a small village, in Wales. So, yeah. And I'm going to see him Saturday, thank God.
Yeah, Saturday. Don't forget, Chris, Saturday. I mean, you can go Friday. At least it's not the other way around, right? You think you're going Saturday and then you've actually had tickets for Friday and you miss it altogether. Don't do that.
Yeah, it's just as well I checked with Liz. I was like, what do you mean we're not going Friday? I can't go through this devastation in 1 week.
Nope.
So, yeah, good band.
Okay, Daryl.
All right. Well, this one's for Richard, because I know Richard likes this particular. We'll say it's a soundtrack. We'll say it's a blue-collared soundtrack. How's that? So one of the most blue-collar jobs I can kind of think of, where people are going in and out of their daily lives to kind of risk their lives to do things, would be firefighters. This fits into my top 3 movies of all time, and it also includes my buddy Bruce Hornsby, who also does some blue-collared stuff, but I didn't put him on his regular albums because I'm going to show this one. But it's the soundtrack to Backdraft, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. And firefighting to me is pretty much as blue-collar as you're going to get. You've got the arsonist in the movie. I actually had this one imported from Italy, I think it is. So if you like fire and you like that kind of stuff, then that's as blue collar as you're going to get. Just want to show the back of it because it's got all the actors and all that good stuff that come from the movie. If you haven't seen the movie, it's a fantastic movie. Donald Sutherland's in it. He's like the arsonist expert. He's an arson that's in prison, and he kind of gets off on helping the fire department figure out who's causing all the issues, and then it turns out that it's actually one of the firefighters themselves that's the arson. And who is it? Kurt Russell, I think it is the star
Yep.
actor that's in it. And I mean, if you look at Kurt Russell in some of the movies he's even done, I mean, he's as blue collar as it gets. He was in that movie Breakdown, where his wife gets abducted by a truck driver. We'll talk about truck drivers later.
Love that movie.
Snake
And,
Plissken, man.
Yeah.
it's just, I don't know. There's just something I couldn't do it, but every time I see, firefighters, whether it's on TV going into burning buildings or they're rescuing people or putting out fires, I think it's a pretty cool job. But I just personally couldn't do it. There's so much danger involved in it that it's pretty fantastic how they do these movies. However, I was talking to a friend of mine that works while he's retired from the OPP, and he hates movies with police and stuff like that. He's like, do they not hire like somebody to come in and tell the directors this is not how a fucking cop's job is, or this isn't what firefighters actually do? But I think that movies would be boring if they did that, going by the rule of thumb, So no, you don't see Backdraft shown too often. So I thought it's a pretty cool movie and a pretty cool soundtrack with my blue collar buddy Bruce Hornsby as the first song on it, and firefighters just wrecking it. And of course, who doesn't want to sleep with their girlfriend in the top of a fire truck while it's driving down the road and they try not to get caught? There you go.
Happens all the time.
My wife would like to sleep with firemen. So
I was on the Backdraft ride at Universal in California 15 years ago. They did not have that as part of the ride. That scene was not part of the ride, unfortunately. You know what, though? When you took that out of there, it looked like that came out of a really nice outer sleeve, that album.
Yes.
It like it had like a little flap and stuff. Did you get that? Did you get that? There's a place called Vinyl Storage Solutions. I'm not sure if that's where you got that from or not, but
as a matter of fact, I did. And this is the Vinyl Storage Solutions 1 mil.
Yes. Perfect.
But if you want something that's a little thicker, you can go with the 2 or the 3 mil.
Yeah.
And you get free shipping after, what is it? So much sales, I think it is.
Yeah, exactly. And then I think if you use the code Northern10, that gets you 10% off. But it looked like you actually took that one out of the outer sleeve and had a nice little flap. So you can get outer sleeves and inner sleeves, 1 mil, 2 mil, 3 mil. You can get lots of different stuff, I think, right? I believe from vinylstoragesolutions.ca.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed. Just scan the QR code on the screen.
Oh, look. Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
There you go.
I've never seen that soundtrack though before. That's cool. That's a great movie.
Too bad Jason Arsenault's not watching tonight. Speaking of firemen, he could comment on things.
There's a new show on Apple called Smoke that is about fire and fire investigators. That's not that bad. So I know that's not a rock and roll documentary, Chris, but I started watching it. It's not bad. So.
Yeah, I think me and Liz are going to start it sometime over the week. Well, we were going to start it Saturday.
Yeah,
you're a little busy.
No, don't. Yeah, no, don't do that. Taron Egerton is awesome. He's a great actor, and he's very good in it. There's, I think, 3 episodes so far that I watched. So anyway,
he's actually Welsh.
Is he? Well, there you go.
We won't hold that against him.
He was fantastic as Eddie the Eagle and Elton, but he was really good. Yeah. So. Anyway, that's not why we're here. Rob, I believe it's your turn.
I think it's my turn. All right. I'm going to show 2 because I can, because I'm flying this ship. This is Grace Potter, who I've talked about before, who I love to hate and hate to love. And, I loved her with Grace Potter and the Nocturnals. Her solo stuff, not so much. This is her album from 2023 called Mother Road. This is actually an autograph copy, so it normally doesn't have her name scrawled across the front. It's called Mother Road, and there's her ass on the back. This is this is an album that is it's a road trip album. It's about a trip down Route 66, essentially. I mean, that's what the song Mother Road is. Lady Vagabond, Rose-Colored Rear View, Little Hitchhiker. It's all about, those sort of cliche images you see when you're talking about Route 66 road trips. So, do you know what Route 66 is, Chris?
Yeah, mate, they used to work on Carnival Cruise Lines in America, so yeah.
Okay, well, we'll say. I didn't mean that in a demeaning way. I just didn't know if that is as known across the pond as it is here.
We used to have the lower deck used to call the I-95 because it was so long.
There you go. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of a relatable road tripping record. It's not bad. It's better than her previous two records, but she smokes way too much and her voice is shot. So it's unfortunate. So there's that.
You've never really specified. Like, did the writing go to shit? Did the music change completely, or all of the above?
No, the writing is not as good. The Nocturnals and her were one of those where the sum was greater than the parts.
Fair enough. Yeah. Okay.
It was just something about how she wrote. She was the primary songwriter, but she collaborated with Matt Burr, who was her husband and the drummer, and Scott Tournay, who was her guitar player. And, they contributed to the songwriting. Now she's writing solo and with her new husband, the producer, Eric Valentine. He's a famous producer. So it's missing a little something, and it's trying to be what it was before with the good ingredients missing, right? It's like, you're baking chocolate chip cookies and you're substituting the butter for margarine and you're putting vegan chocolate chips in instead of real ones.
Okay. I get that completely then.
Right.
Yeah.
Not to insult vegans. I'm sorry if I've insulted any vegans. Please don't throw cucumbers at me.
It's still a cookie in the end. It just, with margarine, it's just not the same, right?
Not quite the same. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
No problem. And I'm going to show one more. And if John's still watching, I don't know. There's Jason. Jason, we just finished talking about firefighters.
Yeah, I saw
late to the party. He was too busy sending me shit to make me laugh over text message. So, Nathaniel Rateliff and the Night Sweats. I don't know much about this guy. How I heard him first is obviously I was watching a lot of Springsteen videos, and I saw at Farm Aid he did a cover of Dancing in the Dark, I think it was. Dancing in the Dark? Yeah, I think it was Dancing in the Dark. And I went, holy shit, this guy's pretty good. And then I kept seeing ads on YouTube for his current tour, and the song that was playing for that YouTube commercial was Heartless, which is on this record, and I really, really dig it. So this is a pretty good record. I've listened to it probably a dozen times, and I really enjoy it. I can't speak authoritatively about it, but from what I have read, he's a Americana roots, working class rock, folk. But he writes about a lot of stuff. I guess he had a bit of a challenging upbringing, so he writes about that. He writes about, some, religious struggles and, that he's had personally and whatever. So it's kind of like, feel free to correct me if I'm way off on this, but from what I gleaned from listening to this or what I've read, he's kind of like his songs are all rooted in, his personal experiences and things that a lot of us can relate to. So I say that's fairly blue collar.
Yep. And if you go and see him and you do not think it is a good show, there is something wrong with you, because it is a fantastic show. He's got the horn section. He's got all the stuff going on. He's a fantastic frontman. His set ended, and I knew him a little bit, but after he performed, I went and bought all the albums that they had there. They didn't have that one. I don't have that one, but really, really good stuff. Been around for a while too. Like, not big, but I think the first one's 2015 or something along the lines of that. I think, or something. And he's on Stax, the Stax label.
Yes.
Which was like Otis Redding and a lot of that stuff. And so you could clump them in. I'm glad you showed him, because that is a perfect choice. I did think about it, but he is fantastic. And like I said, if you go see him, I think, not that I ever go and see any concerts ever, but he opened for City and Color, and I want to see him do his own whole set, because I was thoroughly entertained for the 45-minute set that he did. It was fantastic.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Seeger is coming up soon, so just stay tuned. Joe, your turn. I'm going to go refill my water and say goodnight to my son. I'll be back in a second. Steer the ship.
Sounds good. All right. Well, I'll leave that till after. I'll go with this one. Yeah, I'll go with this. Well, not while Rob's gone. Not that it necessarily matters, but Johnny Cash. I think, there's another guy that if you were to put it a blue collar Mount Rushmore together, he'd probably be up there. Is he country? Is he whatever? I don't care. He's just good to me anyway. And he is a guy that I came to later in life. Didn't listen. Then all of a sudden figured my shit out. I think he might have even been in my 7 artists that I came around to, or something, whatever the hell I called that. But especially in this one, Folsom Prison Blues. This is him in Folsom Prison. For those that don't know, he recorded this back in a prison, and it's just good. And it's heartache, it's beer drinking, it's fighting, it's loving, it's all that stuff. And that is blue collar. So, I don't know what you guys think of Johnny, but, again, I don't know why I didn't like him, but never gave him much credit before. And then all of a sudden, I don't know, maybe 20, 25 years ago went, oh shit, what the hell am I doing? I got to start appreciating this guy more.
I think it boils down to, like, you got to be in a specific mood. I think to listen to Johnny, I kind of in the same thoughts about that. Is just my dad and my grandfather never really listened to Johnny Cash, but there's a guy that I worked with. He's retired now, but and he's a really big Johnny Cash fan. And then when I started playing in my band about 15 years ago, we did a couple of Johnny Cash covers.
Yeah.
And then I finally kind of got into, this is what he's all about, kind of thing. I think that's what happens. I think that if you're not raised on it, it takes a little bit to get into.
And with the whole generational thing with my folks, but my birth mom's husband, who she's been with for 40 plus years, is like, he does Johnny Cash impersonator. He can sing, he can play in that. So I was around him all the time, and I don't know what it was. Chris, you were going to say something. Like I'm glad that I came to it, that I figured it out. I'm just not sure why I didn't earlier than I did. I think age maybe, but anyway, sorry, you were going to say something.
Yeah, so obviously I know the song "Ring of Fire." That was kind of everywhere. Then he did the last album, "Hurt," the single "Hurt" off there, and from a rock band that he covered, and I can't remember off my head what band it was. And then I watched "Walk the Line." It's an amazing film, and I haven't got any albums by Johnny Cash, and I on purpose haven't got the greatest hits, because I think an artist like Johnny Cash he's got so much, like, where do you start here? Yeah.
No, you're right. He because he had some not gospel, like not Elvis did gospel songs, but Johnny had some religious songs, and Johnny was a shit disturber, and was in jail and everything else. And it's just really good. This is not a bad choice, where it's not really a greatest hits, but it's very raw, but it's also very good. I think you'd probably like it. There's a new documentary out. I haven't watched it yet, but so we can watch it separately and come back and discuss it if you care. Anyway, his first wife, long before the stardom and stuff like that, but where he was trying to start out, she's not really the focus, because June Carter is the focus in the what the you just said the new name of the movie.
Walk the line.
Walk the Line. Yeah, but it's about his first wife, Roseanne Cash's mom, along with her three sisters. So I haven't watched it yet, but maybe that's one that's our recommendation for the week, is go and watch that. I think it just came out a couple days ago. So, but anyway, Rob, yeah, mine was Johnny Cash at Folsom Prison. So
Sounds good.
yeah,
The documentary on that one is, I think it's on YouTube, where
Yeah.
they're planning to go and see them. It's amazing. It's like,
yeah, it's cool.
what
And
is
there's
Johnny thinking right now?
there's a second one too that he did as well. So San Quentin, though, I think, I can't remember.
Yeah, San Quentin. Yep. Okay, Chris.
Right, we'll stay on country. That's Mr. Chris Stapleton.
There you go.
This is an amazing album from start to finish. There's no fillers on this one. I absolutely love this album. I got into Chris Stapleton, I think, just after lockdown, kind of heard a couple of his music, and I was like, who the hell is this guy? With that voice. And I don't know if you've seen him doing the USA national anthem at the Super Bowl. But it was just absolutely outstanding, just him and his guitar. So, this is the only Chris Stapleton I got. It's just got... These are crap insights, aren't they?
Yeah, what the hell, man?
There's nothing going on yet.
Yeah, but you're following the rule, though, so I appreciate that you follow the rule. Yeah.
And for some reason, it's on green. Now, you'd think this album would be on orange or kind of, brown or something. But, yeah, so you got South Dakota. You've got Think I'm in Love with You Now, Higher. White Horse was a massive one on you. Crosswind. Mountains of My Mind. So,
Yeah. Phenomenal voice and phenomenal guitar player. I saw him live a while ago as well. An unbelievably great guitar player. Rob, I know you're not a huge country fan, and Chris falls into the borderline country, but I think you would appreciate if you were to see him, the guitar, because it's insane. It's very, very good, I think.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, Daryl.
So, Rob, I'm assuming we're not going 4 for 4 on this country music thing, because I'm showing some country now too.
I don't have any more country.
The closest he can
And I'm
get.
doing a twofer here.
Oh, shit.
So, talked about truck driving. Truck driving to me is the biggest blue collar job there is. It's just, that's all they do. They're just driving around. They're doing this kind of stuff. And so the first one I want to show, it doesn't get any more blue collar than this cover or the song that's involved in it. And that's Red Sovine's Phantom 309 with the old school 1960s truck in the background.
Yeah.
Now, if you've ever watched Pee-wee's Big Adventure, there's a scene in it where Pee-wee gets picked up by Large Marge in the truck. Well, Phantom 309 is lit. The whole song is just, it's Large Marge. It's the whole thing about him hitchhiking and he's picked up by this trucker and the trucker's a ghost. And then they go to a restaurant or whatever it is. And everybody's like, they don't call it Large Marge in the song, but Phantom 309, that's, like I said, it's pretty crazy. But the big one, I had promised Rob that I would show this before the show started. I'm going to show some Stompin' Tom. Bud the Spud. Bud the Spud is, if you're not familiar with Bud the Spud, it's a song about a truck driver who is driving potatoes from PEI and going all the way through the different provinces in Canada to deliver these potatoes in his transport truck, including one set of lines in which the Ontario Provincial Police do not like Bud the Spud.
They've been looking for the son of a gun who's been ripping the tar
he's
off
speeding
the
across the
401.
country.
Yep.
He's speeding across the 401. So, and Stompin' Tom, I mean, that guy lived and breathed blue collar music. So yeah, those to me, I mean, I don't have C.W. McCall, but if I had C.W. McCall, I'd be showing Convoy as well, because those are crazy blue collar truck driving songs. A buddy of mine that used to live up here, he gave me a whole pile of records that used to belong to his parents. And like 3 of them are like compilations of just truck driver music. So once again, you got to kind of be in that mood. And I think that is definitely music that has completely died out, because truck drivers don't use CB radios and stuff like that anymore. It's kind of a dead art, a dead kind of music. So if you weren't listening to music before a certain period of time, you're not going to know what this truck driving music is all about. It's pretty neat stuff, though.
Yeah,
So there
I
we go.
mean, you talk about Convoy. That song comes on. It's like, okay, I got to listen to Convoy because I love that song. It's just so good. Crank it up and just, you know all the words, and it's fantastic. But you're right. Red Solvine is a great choice as well. So that and Teddy Bear, right? I mean, he was a staple of Sunday morning call-in show. Everybody every week was Phantom 309 and Teddy Bear. So, and one of my claims to fame, not really, but one thing I was really excited about was when I went to California. I went to where she drops Pee Wee off, where the dinosaurs are, and I got to see the dinosaurs that were in Pee Wee's Big Adventure. So
That actually is a real place, yeah?
it is. Yeah, it's it's in
That's
between
pretty
LA
cool.
and Indio. When I went to Power Trip. So, and the dinosaurs are still there.
It's
So
just such a bizarre movie, but that scene, when the first time I ever saw that scene, I jumped out of my seat and I ran. I was terrified of Large Marge when her eyes popped out of her head and all that. And now you look at it today and you go, that's the most ridiculous thing ever. It's so stupid.
Yep, agreed.
Large Marge.
I'm trying to use the phone.
I can't believe that this conversation has devolved into talking about Pee Wee Herman. Can we go back to asses and whatever we were talking about before?
Yeah, sure. Well, you're up, so whatever you got next.
Okay, well, I had to pull a country record then.
Well, there you go. Perfect.
So we could go 4 for 4. This is Daniel Romano's Come Cry With Me, and it's fucking terrible.
Is that the end of it? Or the suit's cool, though. I like the suit. It's I would imagine.
So, I have seen this suit in person, and I've met Daniel Romano. This is an actual nudie suit from Nudie's Tailors. Like, the real deal. What do I say about this fucking clown? I'm joking. So, Daniel Romano's from Welland, Ontario, not too far from me. He's a weird dude. He was in a rock band called Attack in Black, and I talked about that in my video last week. And then he did a country phase, of which this is the highlight. And then he did some great rock records after this. So he's actually very, very talented. But his country phase, oh my God. I saw him when he was in this, wearing this suit, doing this is chicken picking nasally, I had sex with my horse kind of country music. Like it's bad. It's so bad. I saw him open for Whitehorse for this album. And there's why do I own it if it's so terrible? Well, that's a good question. There's a song in here called I'm Not Crying Over You. You find it on YouTube. It's the most dreadful thing you'll ever see. But me and my buddy Brian, who used to go to a lot of shows together, we just lost our minds when we heard him do this song. We thought it was the funniest thing we'd ever seen. I damn near pissed my pants. And I know that's not the intent of this song because he's being serious. And we're like, this is comedy friggin' gold. So that's why I own it. But it's down to, country music. It's, like there's a song called, Chicken Bill, which is, like a trailer park kind of song. Like it's that kind of stuff. So it's, he's trying to be serious in some of these other ones too about, it's an album about heartbreak and that we've all been there. So, it's relatable. It's just the music it's very 50s country, but not done well. Oh, it's bad. Bad. It's bad. Okay.
10 to 8. Are we finishing up at 8 so Chris can
let's,
get to bed?
let's do a speed round because Chris has got to get to bed because it's like 7 o'clock in the morning over there.
So just whatever.
He's like 5 beers in, so.
Okay, well, we'll speed round it then.
Feel bad for the missus. You're going to come stumbling into that.
Fucking Canadians.
She's going to blame me for all of this.
Right. Okay, so we'll speed round it then.
Liz, if you watch this later, it's not my fault.
That's right. Tragically Hip, Canada's band ish, arguably.
Yes,
Yeah,
they are.
yeah. So I think Blue Collar, because you could go to their show and that puts me in the mind of it, the shows that they used to put on, things like that. So that's why they made the list. These guys, I listened to this album today. Man, this is a killer album. And I don't
It
even
is
know
awesome.
I don't even know if it's the best album by them, but it is such a fantastic album. I think they might have something new coming out. I'd love to see that, and hopefully that they can kind of get back to their form, because I'd love to see them still. I've never seen the Counting Crows. I was going to go with the other one, but I went with this, so that's that. Speaking of the Crows, there's also the Black Crows.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just good stuff. And their newest one is really, really good as well. I don't know if you've listened to that or not yet, but I should do this because it's a rule. That one's not a gatefold. It's just a double in there. But I think the Counting Crows is a double. Yeah, Counting Crows is a gatefold. There you go. So nothing special, but, can't break the rule. Black Crows, fantastic. Good stuff. I'm going to save the big three for last here. So someone earlier mentioned Bob Seger. So there you go. Bob Seger back in 72. This is a great, great album. This is before the Silver Bullet Band, but this has got, obviously it's got some unbelievably good stuff on it, including Turn the Page. So that is a very blue collar-y song, I would think, as well. And then the top three-ish, besides the Springsteen and the Mellencamp, but some guys that really, really fall into the category. John Prine, fantastic songwriter. Never really got the, I don't know if he never got the attention. He certainly got the adoration of his peers. Just some fantastic stuff on there. I know that others are probably going to show this in their speed round. I chose this album by Tom. Tom is on Mount Rushmore of blue collar as well. If we want to use that as an analogy, I think I saw, like I said, I think I saw a couple, but I don't know why I chose this one, because I've shown Wildflowers and I've shown Full Moon Fever and I've shown everything else. But this is so good. The Waiting is such a fantastic song. But yeah, this is one of my favorites. And then for me, again, Springsteen, yes, for sure. Mellencamp, yes. But this guy as well. And this is early, in fact, the beginning of Steve Earle. And Steve Earle continues to make blue collar working man's. He has an album dedicated to the miners, and he has all of the former blue collar guys like Towns and things like that he does albums about. But this is where it all started back in the day, back when Steve was kind of a little more clean cut and a little more country. But Guitar Town is just such a fantastic album. And so that's my speed round. And none of the other ones were any gatefold, so I'm good to go.
Cool.
Yeah, for sure. He puts me in the mind a little bit. I mean, John Prine, you could call John Hyatt along the same lines, where you've heard lots of John Hyatt songs. You just not necessarily heard them by John Hyatt. But Prine, just a fantastic, some great little songs that just make you laugh, that make you sad, which is good sometimes as well. We don't want to be sad, but sometimes music's supposed to make you sad. So it's just really, really good stuff. So.
There's a certain Canadian fiddle player you're a fan of that did some work with John Prine, believe it or not.
Yeah, well, there you go. So,
Yep.
yeah. I gotta go see Alan again. I think he's coming around for something. I can't remember, but so. And where is Dustin's ranch in BC? Maybe I'll just stop by and say hi on my trip.
Well, he's in Dustin's in somewhere in the interior, and his dad's ranch is not too far away.
I should Tim that and go and just walk up to the door and go, hey, can you sign this for me?
Oh, he has a store you could go in.
Oh, well, there you go. Perfect. Good. Because that's exactly where we're going on our trip in a couple of weeks, is the interior of British Columbia. Anyway.
Go ahead, Chris, and I'll find out where it is.
Okay. The Verve, another council estate kind of band. Massive in the late 90s into 2000s. Hit after hit after hit. They are on tour now in the UK, supporting Oasis on their stadium tour. So that is the warmer back. They've decided to go with Richard Ashcroft, the lead singer from The Verve. when you realize how sad some of the songs are. So there's one on here called we know the big ones like Beat Sweet Sympathy and all the rest of it, but The Drugs Don't Work. It's actually about his mum has got cancer, and he's explaining like the drugs don't work; they just make things worse. I know I'll see your face again. So it's not about him.
It is
taking
one of
drugs.
the saddest songs. That is one of the saddest songs ever, man.
So it's not
It's
about
great.
him taking drugs. It's actually about his mum.
Yeah.
I have to mention this band real quick. Bread.
Sure. Yeah.
I love bread. I
Yep.
love bread. There's another one that my mum got me into. So yeah, like smooth kind of music, relaxing Sunday morning kind of music.
Mhm. And there are a lot of hits on that best of. Like
Oh.
the whole first side were, I don't know if they were number ones, but there's a ton of, like, it's not just one good song or one hit and then the rest is filler. They had a lot of really good songs, right? So
There's a lot on
Yeah.
here. And my final one, thought I had to go with. So we're talking about bluegrass. Creedence Clearwater Revival.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all agree on this one. I think I kept this one till last, just in case it was, unless my selection was absolute garbage. Like, so
No.
if I keep this till last, that's pretty cool. There's no gatefold to this one, but the hits on it's Bad Moon Rising, Fortune Sun, Proud Mary. I've actually ordered Fogerty's album that he's releasing through his website. It's a reprise, so like kind of Taylor Swift has done with her albums. He's
Okay.
pretty much done it with the greatest hits, how he would have brought it out today, how it was sounded, that kind of thing. So
Cool. That's good.
that's me done.
Still
We
like the
talked
bread
about-
choice. Bread's awesome.
Especially if you're making toast.
Yeah. we talk about the Beatles a lot and the short amount of time that they were together and the music they made in that time.
Yeah.
We brought it up a little bit last week, but Creedence Clearwater Revival in like a 2-3 year period were just like, holy shit, man. Like,
Yeah.
and just good. I think very good. So
Yep.
I know you guys kind of agree as well. So
Just so you know, Joe, Dustin's in Clinton, BC, which is northwest of Kamloops.
perfect. I'm going to be, yeah, it should be right around there, I think. So I'll have to have a stop because we're coming down from Prince George into Kamloops. So
Well, then, yeah, if you're on,
I don't know.
if you're taking Highway 97 down, you'll go through Clinton and then you go into Kamloops. So
The old 97s.
maybe. So.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Let me know before you go. If you're going there, I'll reach out to him, make sure he's there.
Yeah, no, if it's not crazy out of the way or whatever. So
Sure.
because I can talk Joanne into a lot of stuff, but sometimes extra road tripping stuff is not part of the deal, especially if it's hot. So
All right,
Daryl, you're up.
Daryl.
All right, yeah. So I don't know if Richard's still here. I haven't seen Richard in the comments for a little bit, but he mentioned that Primus is playing in Colorado. I'm going to show Sailing the Seas of Cheese. This is the one that has Jerry was a race car driver, but there's a song on here called Them Damn Blue Collared Tweakers, which basically is about a bunch of methamphetamine high blue collar factory workers.
Perfect.
Yeah, there you go. Chris, you already mentioned Gordon Lightfoot. This is the album that has Canadian Railroad Trilogy on it, which is down here somewhere. Yeah. Around there.
I have to get into his album.
That's a great song, and it pretty much depicts everything about the railroad industry. Going with the Doors. There's a song on here called "The Unknown Soldier." I know that the military isn't always blue collar, but there are definitely jobs in the military that fit the bill of what it would be to be a.
I agree. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Here's one that we don't usually see, and it's too bad that our buddy there out east, but Dick Nolan and the Atlantic Lullaby. This whole thing is about like East Coast fisheries and that kind of thing. My Cape Breton, Let Me Fish off Cape St. Mary's, right? It's all about that kind of industry. Canadian singer Bim, forget his real name. It's taken me so long to get into him, but I'm starting to appreciate his music. There's a song on here though. Farmer Needs the Rain, right? Farming, it's a huge deal. You know it out in Saskatchewan and out west. I mean, even in southwestern Ontario, if you don't get that rain, your farms, your crops are gonna die. Second to last, I got Mr. Neil Young.
Yep.
And after the gold rush, kind of just goes with that whole gold mining theme, but specifically the 1899 gold rush and basically what happens when everything's out the door. And then this one here is kind of unique. I found this in a thrift store where my daughter lives. It's called Songs of the Sourdough by a guy named Barney McCracken, who was born in Englehart, Ontario.
That's a
And he's
hell.
kind of
Is
one
he
of these
related to Phil McCracken?
pioneer. Barry McCracken, yeah. He's kind of one of these pioneer, just like something that if you lived in like the 1900s, sitting in front of a fire and some guys just
Phil and your
sitting there.
Kraken? Yeah.
Yeah, there's actually a song on it called "Christmas in Moosonee," which is pretty funny. But yeah, I don't know.
I was going to say yes,
a very
McCracken.
niche thing. Speaking of him, that's him right there with the cobble pipe in his mouth.
Got that corn
Guy
cob
is like
the
ancient.
whole 9 yards.
Yeah, so it's it's got a song called "The Log Jam," the Ballad of Sunshine Mine. There's even a song on here called "Philly Willy Winkle Dilly Pop."
Nice. Oh, I used to play that in the club. There was a 12-inch version of that, but
That's brilliant. That's all I can
So,
remember.
anyway.
Is that McCracken?
Finished it up with the best.
Phil McCracken.
Phil
Exactly.
McCracken.
Hey, speaking of Curtis, have you been in touch with him? Like, he hasn't fallen off a boat or anything, I hope. Because
No, I talked to him a few weeks back. He's busy fishing.
Yeah, okay,
Like,
good.
He gets up, fishes, goes to sleep, gets up and fishes some more. So
Yeah, I knew that was the case. I just wanted to make sure that he was okay because I haven't seen him at all for a bit. And hi, Sam. And yes,
Hey,
John,
Sam.
you're correct. AC/DC and Bon Jovi certainly fall into the category.
yes. Okay.
Finish it off. Take us home,
Okay.
Phil. Or wait, you're not Phil. Wait a minute.
I'm not filling any cracks in. That's what caulking's for. Oh, wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
All right. I can't speak too informatively about this because I'm still getting into this artist. This was an amazing VCLT from Keith at Attack Down Under. I'm not saying it the way he says it because I sound stupider than I already am. But from what I've read about this guy, he is revered sort of like Gordon Lightfoot is to us, but to the Australians, he's kind of like their everyman's songwriter, right? So he writes about, sort of the common shared experience of life in Australia. I'm really enjoying it. It's great. It's not trumpet music. It's singer-songwriter kind of stuff. But it's got some sort of childhood photos there. But it's, it's kind of, I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of good rootsy kind of stuff. But he's kind of, like I said, like Lightfoot, sort of the kind of the man of the people. So enjoying that. Joe talked about this guy, but since Sam's here, Tom Petty, again, for all the reasons that Joe talked about, right? You sort of there's songs that are, resonate with folks, like I Won't Back Down and, others, I think of like Running Down a Dream, we all sort of speaks to the common man, so to speak. So I just picked Full Moon Fever. We talked about, when you Google blue collar rock, you get Springsteen, you get Mellencamp, and you get Seeger. So I just picked this one, Stranger in Town. We're gonna finish this with a bang. We're gonna finish this with a guy that wrote an anthem that we all can relate to. An album, a song about being young, a song about summer romances. I mean, we can all. Joe, where the hell are you going? Get back here. You can't, Joe. You can't go anywhere.
I'm still friggin' here. Go.
He knows what's coming.
We all we all can think and remember back to standing on our mama's porch in the summer of '69.
Yep. But he definitely, I mean, again, you bring him up every week, which is great. Because
He is not.
he fits the bill. He does, right?
I don't think he does at all. I just figured I would be a smartass, and that's my mic drop at the end of the show. So there you go.
I think he fits the bill. I
No,
mean,
I don't.
no, all right.
No, not even a little bit. So, but I had to go that way. So, let's see.
I'm not
Dave,
sure what category.
Wyoming Dave, how you doing, man? Haven't seen you in ages. There we go. Joe was lost interest. Well, I think Joe knew what was coming. So,
A little bit. Did you see that? Did you see that this hour has 22 minutes thing that I sent you? Did you watch that? Watch it.
Yeah.
I can't remember where I sent it, but
Yes, I did. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. So, Richard says Joe has to pee. So that's why Joe disappeared. Well, guys, that was fun.
yep.
I thought it was a little more challenging than some because, I mean, how do you define blue collar rock and roll? Who knows? But I think we all took a little bit different spin on it, but I think it ended up okay. I apologize. We had some StreamYard glitches, but that ain't my fault. So hopefully next week it's a little bit better. But Chris, you look like you're
right.
you're half asleep, man.
I've had beer now, so I'm just like,
As my old man used to say, your eyes look like piss holes in the snow.
2 pee holes in the snow.
yeah.
It's got to be
I've
what,
enjoyed it.
3 o'clock in the morning there?
Yeah, it's coming to 3 in the morning, but I'll probably stay up for another hour because once you've done something like this, it's hard to just go straight to bed.
Yeah.
So
Right.
at this time in the morning, I may as well have some cereal.
There you go. Exactly.
But I do appreciate having me on because usually when I watch your live stream, I'm only on for an hour and then I get pissed and then the spell check goes all to shit. But yeah.
But I always enjoy being on yours on Sundays, so
Yeah.
I'm glad we could make this work. So, as we always do, we'll go around the horn real quick. If you got anything to promote about your channel, Chris, what's going on over in your world?
So I just done two videos. So I had the Bruce Springsteen Lost Albums, the 2 LP. That went off like a rocket. It's over 500 views at the moment. And the VCLT from yourself, which I can't thank you enough. That was absolutely epic, mate.
I hope you enjoyed it, man.
I got emotional. I got to be honest. The moment you sent and the letter got to me a bit.
Oh, thanks, man.
So if you haven't seen it, go and watch it. I do a live stream every Sunday. Joe,
I know. I will. Honest. It's not like it's a weird time for us. It's like 2:00 in the afternoon for me. I will. It's been silly lately, and I'm going on holidays. So if I say no, it's for no other reason than I just got stuff going on because I look
Joe
forward to it.
texts me now before I send a message going,
No, well, I
I'll do it this week.
Yeah, I saw you ask.
Yeah.
On the stream, and then you went to bed, so I didn't get a chance to answer. But yeah, please keep asking me because I will definitely. And I know that Richard is on there as well, and and Rob comes on. So yeah, I appreciate that.
We've had some really good guests the last couple of weeks. It's been really good. This week, hopefully Rob can join us because I think he'd enjoy this one.
I'm gonna for this topic. Yeah,
it's the best British bands. So. We did last week. I didn't ask Rob to go on last week. We did July the 4th. So I thought,
the
Orange guys doing it at the moment.
I'm kidding to my American friends.
Yeah, but I did so this week. Let's do a British one. Oasis touring, Stereophonics touring. There's lots of bands touring, so I thought it'd be a good opportunity to people to discuss kind of maybe albums we haven't heard of. So there you go.
I can't wait to hear what Mr. Walker has to say after seeing Oasis in Manchester. I don't know if he's whenever we meet up with him, but
yeah,
I can't wait to hear what he has to say.
So yeah,
who knows? Daryl's been pumping up videos like crazy. What's going on, Daryl?
Books.
Yeah, usually one comes out on Saturdays and one comes out on Wednesdays. So yeah, my Saturday video I did bands and musicians that surprisingly never had a number one hit on the U.S. Billboard charts. So they might have had a number one hit somewhere else, but Bruce Springsteen fits the bill. never had a number one hit on the Billboard charts. So it's kind of
Really?
crazy.
That's surprising.
Yeah, that was crazy. And then today, my albums that have food on the covers. I didn't want to do the whole songs and stuff like that have food in the title. I wanted actual.
If you
covers
put them in,
with
if you put them in sleeves, they won't get food on the cover.
See?
And
So yeah,
Especially
that's
vinyl
about it.
solutions.
I will have another video coming out Saturday. It is likely my greatest hits albums video. So Chris
Chris
be
just
ready
got
for that.
real hard, real quick.
What'd you say?
That's probably
Greatest
what
hits?
it's going to be. And then next week might actually be the K-Tel compilation. So it might be 2 in a row with like not actual albums, I guess you would say.
It's like my trigger word. Like John's trigger word is Billy Joel. Mine's greatest hits. I'm like, whoa, wait, what's going on?
Chris is so excited he's not going to go to bed at all now.
That's right.
Yeah, and then next Wednesday will be my last show with you guys for a few weeks because I'm going on vacation next Thursday's train. So I'll be out for 3 weeks. Come back
Okay.
on the 11th of August.
All right,
So
we'll
other
find
than that,
someone
that's
to
it.
we'll find someone to keep your seat warm for a couple of weeks.
For sure.
And Joe, what's going on?
I'll be here next week. I'll be on your show next week.
Okay, so the week after. Okay.
What is going on with me? Nothing on my channel. Because I just haven't done anything on there. There's so much other good stuff out there. I just decided I'm not going to bother for a little while again, but you never know. I might come up with something. I like to save everything for this. And the store, I've got something planned for tomorrow. Nothing crazy. Probably falls into the same category as the other stuff that I've done. Nothing is too crazy for that. Store's been busy. It's been good. And I, too, am going on holidays. Not camping, though. But
Good. Good.
But it would be some fantastic places to go camping. We just happen to be staying in hotels the whole time. But anyway, yeah, beyond that, like I said, I like doing this. I am going to get on Chris's. Yeah, so that.
All right.
I am.
Well-
I will.
As for me, I've been pretty regularly guesting on Chris's thing, so we'll be there this weekend. And I did a video on Sunday, which was something. Was that
Yeah.
was that
It was
the
Oasis.
album? The
It was-
albums? Oh no, that was Oasis, right?
It was Oasis, yes.
I don't remember shit. I don't remember what I did. I don't remember what I did yesterday, but I remember the lyrics to "Littlest Hobo," right, Chris?
Yeah.
So, quick anecdote. So, Chris sends me shit all the time. And he sends me this meme, and it says, "I don't remember what I did yesterday, but I still remember TV lyrics from the '80s." And it's a guy singing the lyrics to "The Littlest Hobo," and I'm like, "How the fuck does Chris know what The Littlest Hobo is?"
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's a Canadian show filmed by CTV, filmed in Ontario for the most part, and apparently that was on all the time in Wales.
Yes, in Britain, it was massive when I was a kid. You had that,
Massive
you had
here.
Lassie, there was so many animals. It's like-
There was one. I think there was one in Australia, and not to sound like a smartass, but there was one about a kangaroo in Australia. Was there not? That was
Yeah.
similar to the Littlest Hobo. It's just, you take the animal of the country and you make them wander around and go to places and save Timmy down a well. Timmy can fall down a well in any country you like. So
Littlest Hobo was fantastic.
Got his-
Did you
I got
get
his head now.
did you get the beachcombers over there?
Ooh, beachcombers.
Right,
Relic.
right, relic. Yeah. No, you know right away if you got it. So well, at least you got the Littlest Hobo. That's all that matters.
And while we've got Sam here, Sam, I'm not sure. My invitation to the wedding has not showed up yet. Have you guys? Anybody else got their invitation to the wedding?
No, I
yet?
don't think he wants us to be there.
I don't think he does.
You should
So-
do a live stream while he's doing while he's doing,
Just
doing the
playing up in the
speeches.
corner.
I just thought I'd show this.
I think we should just all roll up in a van and just come pouring out of this van like a clown car.
like
Old
Spicoli
smoke
and his
We're
buddies.
all idiots. And Sam's like, "Oh my god, it's my VC buddies." Oh no,
Yeah,
that
I
would be
did.
hilarious.
I did actually live stream my wedding. I did back in Joanne and I got married 16 years ago, 99. Yeah, that's right. And they were live streaming at that time. So I think, Sam, look into that if you would, because I think we'd all watch Sam get hitched
Sure.
up there all nervous and smiling like he is. Where is he? He's gone.
If we were there in person, we'd all be like, "Don't do it."
No.
It's fun. It's
Well,
funny.
you're talking to his fiance though. Don't do it. Right?
Sure.
Yeah.
So I've been married twice. I was married once in my early 20s, and literally we're talking months. And I remember I was walking up the steps to the church, and someone goes driving down the street, and he rolls down his window. He goes, "Don't do it, man! Don't do it!" And which turned out to be fairly prophetic because, yeah, I divorced her several months later. But anyway, there you go. Sam, hopefully, it's all good and wonderful, and you wouldn't want us clowns there anyway. So
Sam's such an awesome guy. Can't see
He
it
is.
not working out. So
exactly, stand up,
Yeah.
man. We like
yeah,
it.
very much so.
All right, well, that is going to do it for this Wednesday. Chris, thank you for being our special guest. Thank you for staying up into the wee hours of the morning. Thanks to Liz for letting you stay up in the wee hours of the morning. Be nice to her tomorrow. Don't be a grumpy prick tomorrow.
That's right. He just shrugs his shoulders.
Just
Why? Why would tomorrow be any different? What the hell?
Fair enough. Joe, Daryl, always fun. To the folks in the comments, thank you for watching us. We love chatting with you folks every week, and for everyone that watches later on, love that you spend a little bit of time with us. Check out Chris, the Vinyl Man, Joe on a vinyl, and Daryl, the Northern Vinyl Guy. We'll be back next week with a different guest and a different topic. Hope everyone has a good night, and we'll see you soon. Good night.
Good night, everyone.